What's up, guys? Welcome back to ManCave Collectible Reviews, coming at you today with another figure review. Today we're going to take a look at Marvel's Ragnarok. This is a brand new release from Marvel Legends. Just started hitting at your local Target store, so get out and hunt this guy. If it's something you need or want for your collection, we're going to compare him to one of the more recent Thor releases that pretty much uses this same body mold. We'll take a look at that shortly. But right now, let's go ahead and jump right into the packaging of this guy. We can pretty much see everything that he comes with. You can see his hammer effect, extra hands in there, extra head. We've got the Cyborg version, or the damaged Cyborg version of his face there on him straight out of packaging. We do have a robotic hand there as well. Just a really cool looking figure. Does come in this deluxe packaging that we're kind of getting used to. This, I believe, was $32 is what I had to pay for this. Got the side there, got some Thor artwork, or Ragnarok, I should say. And then on the back, the same. Got a little write-up here, tells you a little bit about this guy. Basically, Tony Stark tried to clone Thor. It went bad, as you can imagine. Same thing over here on the other side, and back to the front. Let's go ahead and crack this guy out of his packaging, see what we got. All right, guys, so we got our Thor out of packaging. I keep calling this guy Thor. This is Ragnarok, but it's a clone of Thor, so it's when I see it, I see Thor. But I got him out of packaging. I'll go ahead and tell you right out of the gate, much like I believe it was the 80th anniversary is what this guy's mold is based on. He's very tough to keep balanced and posed, and that is due to the rubber cape on his back. It is very heavy. It's very back heavy, so he wants to fall backwards constantly. So you got to be real meticulous in how you stand and pose this guy. So I'll go ahead and give that disclaimer. If he falls over during this review, you'll know why. Let's go ahead and cover accessories. So first off, we get a reissue of that same Thor hammer. So this is identical to the one that we got with the last Thor that was released. Really nicely detailed. The writing on there is very clear. You can see what that says. Whoever holds this hammer, yada yada, looks good. The detail on the hammer is excellent. You can see there the stonework is fantastic all the way around. Handle, brown tassel coming off the end. It just looks really good. I really like what they did with the Thor hammer, the Mjolnir. In that same vein, you get the effect that he is twirling the hammer, and this actually works really well. This spins really well. There you go. I wouldn't say it spins as well as like a fidget spinner does, but it does a really good job of putting off that effect. Got some real nice translucent plastic here in the middle to kind of give that whirling effect. And then each one of these hammers actually have the writing on them, very clear, very nice, and they each have their own handles. This was really well done. And then you can see here, he would just hold this with the holding hand that he comes with out of packaging there. Now, he also comes with the Ragnarok head sculpt, and really the only difference here between this and the previous release are those red eyes. So real nice detail here on the wings that come off of the helmet. The hair looks good. It's all really sculpted nicely. It is a hard plastic, so there ain't going to be much you're going to be able to do with it. Pretty much just going to sit the way this one does, kind of draped around the neck and then over the back of the shoulders there. But it looks really good. Those red eyes are just, they're nicely painted in there. And then lastly, we just get a open hand. Now, I would see this as kind of the hand of like when he's calling Mjolnir back to him. It's kind of what I see when I see this version of his hand. If you wanted to use the non-cyborg head sculpt, you could actually trade out the hand that has the robotic look to it, and therefore kind of wouldn't blow his cover so much if you wanted to use this as your Thor on your shelf. Now let's take a real close look at Ragnarok himself. So we'll bring him in so you guys can see what they did with this face sculpt. So you can see there it does have that Terminator look, that endoskeleton look in there. It just looks really cool. That eye is more bug-eyed, but it's red. This side of the face, for the most part, looks the same, as the sculpt that, comes with it. But they definitely did a good job of throwing that cyborg version into this. As far as the body itself, pretty much what you would expect there. There are a little bit of differences in the paint apps and coloration from the last Thor, which we'll look at. Coming over, looking at that hand, you can see it's very cyborgish, very robotic. They did a good job on the detailing there. Really like what they did. This hand here, you can see in there, it's very oddly shaped, but they've got it shaped. You can see how, I'm trying to show you here, there's actually a cutout in the palm of the hand, which we don't typically see, but they've done that so that he can hold on to the whirling axe is a lot better. We'll slide those in his hand so you can see how that looks. So you can see it just kind of fits. They make it to where it fits in that groove that they carved out in the palm of the hand. So that's pretty cool that they did that. That was good thinking there. Now as far as, you know, getting this to twirl, you can see it's still very heavy, and it's going to be heavy on his arms. But you can get it to twirl in there. But I think it's just the effect itself, looks really cool. It looks like he's twirling that, just standing there. And then, as I said, here on the back of the cape, it's super nicely detailed, super nicely sculpted. It's got some dark shading throughout just to kind of accent the cape and just give it a real nice look. The cape is, connected to his body, so you're not going to be able to, remove that. To pop the head off, it's pretty simple. Head pops right off. Pop on the new head, and there you go. You've got more of a traditional look for Thor, but again, we're not dealing with Thor, we're dealing with his clone. You can see those red eyes. So, you could use this as a stand-in for Thor if you didn't have one. However, the red eyes kind of give away, you've got Ragnarok, but still a phenomenal looking figure. I really like this body mold that they did with Thor here. Let me grab the original release of this version of Thor. Let's take a look at some of the differences. All right, guys, I finally got both of these guys standing. I'm telling you, it is maddening to try to get these two guys to stand properly. You can even, their foot's wonky. I mean, it's a mess. And I'm not a great poser. I don't claim to be. But, they really need to go the route of, hey, if you got a guy like this, throw a stand in there. Do what McFarlane does. Give us a peg stand. It's very simple. It's easy. They can probably produce them for 1/10 of a cent in mass quantities. Throw a stand in, make it easy for us, especially if we're dropping $30+ on figures nowadays. But anyways, that's a discussion for another day. Let's talk about the two Thor figures we have in front of us. So you can see they're virtually identical in body mold. It is the same figure sculpt. Everything is the same. In fact, right now, if I pop their heads off, you probably couldn't tell me which one was which, outside of the fact that their boots are a different color. Their capes are slightly a different color. You can see that the original release here does have a darker cape, lighter cape there on Ragnarok. The skin tone is slightly different. I'm not sure how well that part is showing up on camera, but the skin tone here is definitely a lighter peach color versus over here, he's got a little more of a tan. And then obviously the eyes are very, very different. We actually have the blue eyes here. We have the red eyes here on this side. And then also the wings on the helmet are different as well. You've got a more cream color versus a more silver color here with the original release. Belts, slightly different. Got a little more tan here on this belt for the new release. A little more yellowish on the old one. And kind of the way to know there, the belts really match the boot. So I'm not sure, again, how well that's showing up on camera, but the belts match the boot. The wristbands, the same. The hammers, actually a little different there. And there we go. I'm telling you guys, nothing frustrates me more than an action figure that cannot stand. That really, I have a hard time with that. Let's keep moving. Back to the hammers. The hammers are, even though the hammers are identical in their mold, they are different in their color. So that's kind of cool. They actually differentiated by color there. You got a much darker stone color here on the new release of Ragnarok versus Thor has a lighter stone color. So I think we covered pretty much all the differences there between these two guys. Again, lots of similarities, minor detail changes in the color. All right, just a little size comparison here for you. Got a couple Marvel Legends. We got Cap over to the left. We got the Retro Spider-Man to the right. These are kind of your standard 6-inch Marvel Legends. So you can see this guy stands at about 6.5, probably 7-ish if you get to the top of those wings. And then we can bring in a couple 7-inch scale figures. We got the NECA Terminator here, and yeah, I did that on purpose. And then we've got the 7-inch Ultimates Leonardo. All right, so real quick, let's just run through his articulation and we'll wrap this thing up. Right here, we can get that head down to there. Again, the hair is going to get in the way going forward and back, so you can see we just can't get a whole lot. Lots of range of motion there in those shoulders. We can get them all the way up, almost 360 for the most part. Slightly gets in the way back here in the chest, swivel at the bicep. We do got those nice double jointed elbows there coming on down. We got swivel in the wrist, forward and back, no problem. We do got a pretty nice abdominal crunch there for this guy. You can see that, forward, some back, but it kind of opens up that gap there. Got a twist right there in the waist. Come on down, we can get the splits out pretty good. Got a cut right there in the upper thigh. Double jointed knees, and get them up no problem. Do have a cut in the upper calf, and then our ankle rockers and tilts, as you would typically expect with your Marvel Legends. So guys, if I put this guy in a walking pose, he does stand. That's how we're gonna have to go out on this video. I cannot put him on my turntable because he won't stand up with the movement. But that is your Thor figure. I hope you enjoyed this quick little review of this guy. He is hitting at target. Get out there, get to hunting. I found this guy out of total surprise. I wasn't even expecting him. Haven't really heard a whole lot about him here recently since his initial solicitation. So this was really cool to find him. I don't typically pick up figures that I already have a figure of, being I already have a Thor. But I just always thought Ragnarok was just a really cool character, a cyborg Thor. I thought that was just really cool. So had to pick him up and add him to the collection. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as part of the ManCave Collectibles team. We do our weekly toy huts here, as well as reviews on a lot of the hot figures at the moment. And again, leave those comments down below. I hope everybody has a good rest of your week. Until next time.
Always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working.